Welcome to Titan Upload Live, sponsored by Symbol. So thank you so much for joining us. We have a special guest. We've been pumping him up over the last couple weeks. Broshmo is in the house. He is in the green room, so to speak, ready to come on and talk draft with us. And with everything going on in Titans land, hopefully you guys can all hear me good today. But with everything going on in Titans land, it's pretty incredible that we got the draft literally a little bit over a month away, and John Robinson's going to be put on the spot, and he's got to get it right this time. So we're going to ask Broshmo about Isaiah Wilson. How the heck did we screw that one up? Did he see that coming as far as all the problems that he presented for the Titans? Can the Titans really take another offensive tackle in the first round yet again? I think so, but I don't know Broshmo's opinion on that one. And then what in the world are the Titans going to do at cornerback, wide receiver, tight end, you name it? We still need a kicker. We need all sorts of things. Broshmo is going to give it to us. Plus, we're going to even ask him about what's going on with free agency. And if you followed my advice and went over to his YouTube channel and looked at his content, right, you'll notice a lot of draft stuff. Don't get me wrong. He's great at the draft, but he broke down what happened yesterday with free agency, and he gave grades for all the teams. I will let him tell you himself what grade he gave the Tennessee Titans for basically picking up Bud Dupree, and we'll see what goes on from there. So without further ado, let's bring him in. My buddy from Fan to Fan Network, Broshmo knows everything. Take it away, Broshmo.
Hey, what's cracking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you didn't know. So nice little tagline. How's it going, bro?
But man, so where can they find you? I obviously got your Twitter handle. I got your YouTube channel. YouTube, I mean, you're destroying it on YouTube. 17,000+ subscribers. Every video you pump out, I mean, in the first hour or so, you already got over 1,000 views. I mean, people are just soaking up your draft content. You put a lot of hard work into it. And me personally, knowing you behind the scenes with Fan to Fan Network, I know how much effort and how much dedication you are to this. So anything else you want to add just about where they can find you? I know you got Twitch, you got Instagram.
Probably the best places to follow me is, of course, the YouTube channel Broshmo. You could also find me on Twitter at, I think I'm the real Broshmo. I think that's what my Twitter handle is. I don't know. It's in my description. Go check that out. But I'm trying to be a bit more active on that. Just check out the content on YouTube. That's mainly where I am at. I haven't. I really want to do Twitch someday, but I'm just gonna try to focus right now at YouTube.
Yeah.
Someday.
So again, we got a lot to talk about, and we're definitely gonna put him on the spot. You guys can leave questions, comments. As far as we kind of talked right before we came on, he's willing to go the distance with us, and we're not gonna go our traditional distance, which is 2 hours plus. We're only gonna go about an hour, and then we're gonna try to get some sleep. At least I'm gonna try to get some sleep, man. I don't know how you do it with this late night draft stuff, but me personally, the Titans have me beat up inside and out for how much with all this stuff going on. So I want to start off right away and just ask you this. Yesterday, the Titans go out and make a move. They bring in Bud Dupree. Autry, they signed Autry from the Colts, which I really like that pick. I'm interested in what you feel about that one. And then they signed Lamb, the tackle, which we found out today maybe why, because they'll release Kelly. But what's your initial thoughts on Bud Dupree? And give it to us honest, man, because I know you will.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan of Bud Dupree. I thought, at least the last couple of years, when you look at him, he's really reaped the benefits of playing in a stacked front seven there at Pittsburgh. I mean, he's never had to worry about double teams with TJ Watt on the other side. And then you also got Hayward, you have Tuitt there. Even he had Javon Hargrave there in the middle for a little bit, and then even Tyson Alualu. He never had to worry about being doubled up. So it just kind of allowed him to run rampant. And you kind of saw that the past 2 seasons. He was very he always started out the gate hot. But like second half of the season, he would like die down. Last couple of seasons, he hasn't had a pass rush win rate above, I think, 12%, which if you're looking for your like high end edge rushers, you want that to be in the 17 to 20% pass rush win rate. He was never really there. I like to call these high totals sack guys more of the late to the party, gets all the attention type of pass rushers, kind of like your Dante Fowler. So I've never been a big fan of just him being, hey, he's our guy, go do it. I think Dante Fowler is actually a perfect example when it comes to that. Where the Atlanta, they put all that money into that, and it's like,
yeah.
So I think that's kind of going to be, I don't know, maybe with Harold Landry there, it'll be a bit different, and then Jeffrey Simmons there on the interior. And then, of course, Daequan Jones, which I thought was a great pickup. He's probably going to be kind of like that 5 tech type in that system.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about Autry? Because, we Bud Dupree's the big splash. He's the big name. $16.5 million per year for 5 years. I mean, that's insane, right? I have no idea is that what it took to get a pass rusher to Tennessee? Who knows? But Autry came first, actually. He was the first signing, and a lot of Titan fans they didn't really know a whole lot about Autry. Some did, some didn't. But the more we found out about Autry, the more we're like, yeah, like he's actually going to fit in quite well. What do you see, and what do you actually like? I noticed you said you liked the fit. Why do you like the fit so much with Autry and the Titans and Vrabel?
Because he's not much of like you talk about edge rusher. He's more of like an edge defender. He kind of sets the outside. He sets the line. He controls the line of scrimmage, which is going to be huge. He's a pretty solid run defender, but he does get adequate pass rush, mainly from the interior, actually, which is what he did a lot with the Colts. So yeah, like low key, like he's in that like 12 to like 15 pressure win rate, which that's adequate for your second edge rusher. That's why I kind of liked that. I was like, okay, in this system, he's going to be rushing more from the interior. And then you got, Simmons there, who's probably going to be more like going to get more of the heat. So I just loved the situation he was coming into. That's why I liked the fit a lot.
How
that's why I was talking. Huh?
How much do you like Simmons? Like,
I love Simmons. I loved him
Simmons.
coming into the draft.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be like a top 10 guy. And I don't love interior guys.
So,
but
yeah,
I was going to say, I was talking about Judon earlier with you before, where I thought that's who they were going to kind of eye if they were going to go edge rusher.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Of course, he goes to Bill Belichick.
Yeah, he went to Belichick, and you wonder if Vrabel actually had any play in that. And they did ask him, if you remember the whole like stomp midfield celebration after they beat us and they ran off the field. They did ask him about that, and he had some kind words, obviously, for the Titans. But then they said, hey, would they need a pass rusher? And then he kind of left the door. Yeah, well, I'd probably go there. So I didn't know where they were going to go with that. But you like Judon better, obviously, than Bud Dupree, right?
Slightly.
Okay.
if you were gonna spend that much money, yeah, I would have preferred Judon. I think he was very scheme specific.
Yeah.
And really, it's those Belichick type of guys that I would really trust with someone with their with Judon's skill set.
So let's move into what happened today, right? So, I mean, I got the show planned with you, right? So I'm prepping for that. A lot of stuff going on with free agency. I know you're dealing with a lot with the draft. And you probably are coming into the show thinking, all right, Titans are going to do this. Titans are going to do this. Got holes here, got holes there. We lost Corey Davis. Jonnu Smith, we lost to those Patriots you mentioned. And we're going back and forth, back and forth. And then like around 3 o'clock, the news drops that, we got rid of Butler before. Now we're going to get rid of the other top corner in the Titans defense. We'll get rid of Adoree Jackson. We'll get rid of Dennis Kelly. In your honest opinion, I know you like Adoree Jackson. I think we're kind of split on kind of how that all went. But can you tell us why you actually like Adoree Jackson and why the Titans might actually be kicking themselves next year after this move?
Man, when Adoree Jackson's healthy, that's the thing. When he's healthy,
good point.
He's been great in coverage. Like if you like go look at like you could even some people aren't a fan of PFF. I love PFF. Looking at their coverage stats, like he since 2018, I think he was in the top 5 with the likes of like Gilmore, Jair Alexander. So like the dude, when healthy, he's excellent. He's phenomenal, dude. Lightning quick. Like I thought he was perfect for Vrabel's scheme. So it was, I don't know. I feel like they could have like worked out something, extend him, especially what they ended up bringing in, Mr. Jackrabbit himself. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit, you're looking more at the intermediate rather than down the line with that type of move.
Do we know how much in the chat? How much did they sign? Does it come out yet with Jenkins' contract? And if you guys know in the chat, let us know. Because
I've been checking Twitter all day.
I mean, I just couldn't believe it. You know, the whole thing I keep hearing about is you got to get younger, you got to get quicker so you can compete against Mahomes and the Chiefs and their quickness, right? That's all I hear about. And then you get rid of the fastest dude, whether he's healthy or he's not. I get it. That's a big decision to make. So they obviously got rid of him. And then they go immediately. I mean, it's literally a couple hours afterwards. And then now they're bringing in the 32-year-old veteran, which is fine. I get it. We did this last year with Jonathan Joseph. We brought him in to be the 4. And then, 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the season, Joseph's not the 4 anymore, Broshmo. He's the 2. And he's literally getting taken. You should have seen the Minnesota game in week 3. I mean, Jefferson just tore this guy up. It was unbelievable. And the sad part is Joseph got an interception, and he returned it for a touchdown. But Clowney decided to do something for once, and he got called for an illegal block, and it brought it back. And there went the whole balloon with Jonathan Joseph. But we did win the game, believe it or not. And a lot of it was because our kicker, who couldn't make a kick to save his life against the Broncos, decided to go out and go like 4 for 4 from 50 yards. And Gostkowski. So, yeah. But what do you know about Jenkins? Like, why should Titan fans, what's the positivity with Jenkins, why we should be somewhat excited about a signing? Usually your team signs someone, you get somewhat excited.
No, he's fun. He's good. He was good in his own right there at New Orleans. I mean, that's why they worked hard to keep him last year. I believe going into the 2020 offseason, they released him and then quickly re-signed him. I mean, it's a good pickup, but again, it's more puzzling that it had to be predicated with the Jackson release, especially after they got rid of Butler, which that was kind of to be expected, but Jackson was woof. Yeah. So I don't think Janoris could be your number 1. So
if you're putting a GM a GM hat on, who do you think the Titans? We'll just go right to the draft because I know this is the draft is your thing, man. So corners, a lot of Titan fans want the corner from South Carolina. Would he be a good fit if he actually gets to us at 22? And to throw this at you, would you trade up for him if because a lot of mocks got the Colts taking him. A lot of mocks do. Would you actually trade up for him? Is he that good? And just give us the rundown.
I don't know if I'd necessarily trade up for him. I'm more of a trade back type of guy, especially in a corner class. Like, yeah, this corner class is pretty darn deep. But no, he's great. Like, he's big, he's physical. My biggest area concern with him was ball skills. He only really displayed ball skills in one game this year. I believe it was against Auburn. He had 5 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, but literally that was his stat line for the whole season, was that one game. But I mean, when you have a guy that plays that amount of press, you kind of don't anticipate them to have good ball skills. But you do like to see them, at least turning around and trying to find the ball in the air, and try to meet it at the catch point. And that's something I still feel like he needs to work on. But no, he's exceptionally polished. I think he's easily the cornerback 3 in this class.
Okay.
So yeah, if anything, if I'm the Titans, I would just kind of hold my spot and hope he kind of falls. Not expecting him to, but again, there's a lot of other guys in this class you could get in round 2 or round 3.
Okay, so it's deep. Then basically what you're saying.
It's very deep.
So we got 4. Is it 2? Yeah, I think we got 4 picks on the top 100. So John Robinson possibly can't take 4 linemen. Real quick, Isaiah Wilson. All right, backtrack from last year. What were you going into the season think? I mean, when we drafted him, I threw my water bottle, and it wasn't really at him. It was just the fact of you just signed Dennis Kelly to this 3-year deal for a decent amount.
Right.
It wasn't like super cheap, so you thought he was going to be the guy. Then you go out and spend a first-round pick when we clearly could have used help elsewhere, and we could have helped the defense. Heck, we could have drafted an edge rusher. I know that they weren't. Matos was the guy, and I don't know how great Matos actually really did. But the problem I had was you just went out and you draft this guy from Georgia. What did you see from him? What was your feeling kind of when you were doing your observations before the draft with Isaiah Wilson? And did the Titans reach for him?
Yeah, no, they totally did. I had like a 3rd-round grade on him. I thought he was a prime candidate to convert to guard. Just because he's very slow out of his stance. He would attack each, like the point of attack, even in like pass sets, which you don't do that. You kind of let rushers come to you. You only attack in when you're running the ball, or if it's a play action, because then you're fainted running the ball. But he would constantly do that. He kind of just saw that on his tape. So I was like, okay, this guy's probably, maybe a play action heavy type of team. He should probably go there. Just move to guard. I thought, yeah. But I mean, yes, the dude was a mammoth. That's probably why he was like drafted so highly. But I think I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I had like a C or C+ grade.
Yeah.
For my first round grades last year on him. But yeah, it really comes no surprise. When they initially drafted him, I was like, oh man, he's going to probably end up starting a guard. I kind of like Nate Davis. Dang it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's sad because they had us mocked the tackle from Houston. I
loved Josh Jones in the draft last year.
So they had, first round, maybe too high, but they had us mocked with him, right? We could have got it. Didn't he go in the 3rd round? Didn't he 3rd round?
Yeah, he went 3rd round Cardinals.
He'd still be on the team.
Yeah, he would be.
And everybody makes mistakes. I get it. What about Corey Davis real quick? If you go back a few years with Corey and Adoree Jackson, we could have had Lattimore. Lattimore, I believe, went 1 pick after us. Titans really needed a wide receiver. So you had Ross, Williams, Davis. Were those guys just way too inflated, like everybody pretty much says, or did you have a different take on the wide receivers that year?
I loved Davis at the time. Not to say I love him any less, but I think that's something that's kind of changed in my evaluation when it comes to receivers. Like, if you're going to take a receiver early, you want good separators. He was more of a big contested catch type of guy. And he was creating a bit of separation, but you also got to take into account he was playing I think in the MAC.
Yep.
So
Western Michigan.
It's not like the best competition. So, I mean, not saying anything away from him. I think, top 10 would have been probably a bit much if this was, me looking now, obviously. But I think, what he's good at. He's a good physical. He could be a possession guy. He could go down field and be just a big target, big contested catch guy. So I think he was starting to come into his own. But man, for what the Jets paid for him, if I'm the Titans, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's just too much for me. I think you could probably find value elsewhere.
Yeah, and he deserves it. I mean, the guy's a class act meeting him, and he had a tough year. Anytime you lose your older brother, and then he had a blessing. He had a child, and that came more towards the end of the year. So it was a cool thing to see. Well, it wasn't cool to see him wave goodbye, get on a plane with him, and his baby was on the plane. And I'm not sure if he's married or not, but girlfriend, wife, fiance, I'm not sure if he's whatever. But they were all on the plane together and they were going somewhere. And I know that he's going to see better days. I'm not sure New York was the best fit for him, but, he's a soft-spoken guy, but players love him, and he's very respectful. He kind of keeps to his own, but at the end of the day, like, he's a smart guy, and he can ball. You just got to get him involved early. And the Titans, for whatever reason, Maybe it's A.J. Brown. Maybe it's because you got Derrick Henry, but they just didn't get him involved too much. Really
It
quick.
really depends who's quarterbacks in New York, though.
Oh, yeah. That's another story. So do you think the Titans Jonnu Smith, what's your opinion on Jonnu Smith when he came out and with him being going to the Patriots? Do you think that's going to work out, or are we going to regret Jonnu Smith not franchise tagging him?
I don't think y'all will regret it. I think maybe like you probably had one more year with him, even if you franchise tag him, it may have been the only case there. I think those athletic guys at tight end, like they're starting to become a bit more. There's a bit more supply of them now in the draft. Like you could point to like Brevin Jordan this year out of Miami. I think you can find those guys. So like having to pay like what he got, like 15, right? 15 million a year.
12, was it 12 and a half?
12 and a half.
He got 27 guaranteed.
Yeah. That's still a big price. I mean, if you're not like a Waller or
we're talking I'm sorry, I was talking Davis. You're right. Jonnu 4 for 50, 31 guaranteed.
31. Yeah, but yeah, I think best case scenario for the Titans was to franchise tag him, but I mean, yeah, I don't think there was any way y'all were gonna end up keeping him. And I don't think it sucks, but I don't think it necessarily has to be that big of a hit depending on how you go about the draft, because there's a lot of talent out there receiving wise, even for the tight end position early on.
Yeah,
they could try to focus it there.
Yeah, I think with them bringing back the Ferkser can't block, but other than that, I mean, Ferkser's a really good third down tight end. He's like a wide receiver that plays tight end, but I like Ferkser because he's Tannehill's security blanket. You know what I mean? So he definitely serves a role. I just don't think he can be the true number one tight end on every formation, especially when you're run heavy with Derrick Henry. We actually have the first question of the night. It comes from Philip Maddox. He asked Broshmo how he feels about Asante Samuel Jr. Titans like to play way off the line of scrimmage. Broshmo, I don't know if you've seen the Titans play defense before, but on a 3rd and 4, Tennessee, Bowen, defensive coordinator, loves to play the guys like 11, 12 yards off. So the other team just runs a little slant, get 4 or 5 yards, first down, move the chains, back at it again. But I think that's Phillips' point. But looking at the film, he said he plays great off the line. Do you think he's a better fit, Phillip wants to know, than Horn? Maybe even not even maybe even long-term, short. I mean, either way you want to answer that one. Thanks, Phillip.
Yeah. Asante Samuel Jr. is amazing. He's one of my favorite prospects in this class. This guy, elite athleticism. What's going to hurt him is size. And honestly, like he could play in any scheme. He graded out very high in both man and in zone. He could play inside. He could play out. Gives you that versatility. He's a very willing participant when it comes to the run game. Like he likes to play physical. And again, sometimes that size in the NFL, it might not, always, be a good thing, but he might actually, that might be he might be a better fit than Horn. I could definitely see that. I'd be a lot more willing to trade down and take Samuel than probably stick at 22 and go with Horn.
I think why I get afraid to trade down is we kind of tried to do the whole mock draft. We gave it a run, man. We gave it a valid effort. it is what it is. But so we tried it, and I don't know. We ended up trading with the Raiders by mistake at 22 to move up, and we didn't want to move up, so we ended up trading back with the Raiders and getting more draft capital somehow. I don't know. I forget the site.
Draft Network.
Yes. So the whole draft thing it's fun, but it's but who knows? Maybe the Raiders really would do that. Bottom line, we ended up going all the way to 32, and I'm not kidding you. Like the best player on the board probably were a bunch of tackles, and I think a lot of us feel like John Robinson, deep down, man, he's got a thing for drafting tackles in the first round. Like that's his thing. Last year, he's like, forget it. I'm going to do it. And he did it. And he got Isaiah Wilson. This year, I mean, yesterday I was feeling good. Today I'm not, because I feel like he's going right back to the tackle. So that would be my only point. If we trade back, I think it's just going to open up a whole can of worms for him to just have another excuse to draft a tackle. And since we're talking tackles, and we'll stop, I promise. Tackles. Like, for the Titans, between 22 and 32, the tackle out of Michigan keeps coming up. I even forgot his name. Is he worthy of that slot from 22 to 32?
Oh, see, on my channel, I'm known as like the biggest Jalen Mayfield hater. I've kind of come around to him. I mean, for what he is, you got to hear me out on this though,
okay?
Because people give me grief over it. So he's only has experience at right tackle, and that's only the last year, and then I think he played in like 2 or 3 games this year. Everyone's like, well, look at how he handled Chase Young. He faced Chase Young on literally a handful of snaps. He didn't allow a pressure to him. He allowed 7 pressures and a sack to the rest of the Ohio State team. Like, the inconsistency is this guy's game. Like, dude is extremely strong. I get it. His physical profile, it fits that of a first-round tackle. He's a mauler, but like his hands, they need work. Easily. I think I'm trying to think. Who was it last year? That was that Ohio State game that he's going up against, but just was swatting him away like a fly, like it was nothing. Like that's the thing, inconsistency with him. But I get why people like him. I think I'm coming around with like having a 2nd round grade on him. Okay. But like for me, 1st round's a bit rich. There's a few other guys I like better. Like I'd probably say Tevin Jenkins is probably like a guy I would think would be a good fit for the Titans. He has experience at left, but a majority of his play came at the right. He plays with just nastiness. He's a mauler. He loves to ragdoll guys. Loves it. Like one of the top edge prospects in this class. He's like a top 10 edge prospect. Joseph Asai literally just like ragdolled this guy all game.
Wow.
Like, I think it. Oh,
any character issues? I have to
nah.
So he's good.
Yeah. There's a few guys in this draft, but there's for the most part, these guys are pretty solid.
We're going to take one more question. We're going to go with Ken Bonds. So shout out to Ken Bonds. So we're going to put Ken Bonds' question on there for you, and then we're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll be right back. But Ken wants to know about Tommy Tremble. What do we know about him? Would he be a good fit in Tennessee?
He would literally be what Anthony Ferkser's doing right now.
Okay.
He's kind of this H-back. Like, I think a lot of people want to comp him as like Kyle Juszczyk. I think he's more like what the Packers drafted last year, the tight end out of Cincinnati. It's like Josiah, like DeGara or something. But yeah, he's a guy that dude's a phenomenal run blocker and exceptionally fast, but just you didn't see enough in the passing game. Like the Notre Dame's main like weapon in terms of their tight end was Maynor. I can't remember. It was a freshman or a redshirt freshman. That's who they used in the receiving game. It wasn't Tremble, but like it shouldn't take away what Tremble like can do. I think he's like in that like 4th round area, but realistically, I do like him in that like H-back role in the backfield, blocking on run plays, and that can maybe sneak into like in a red zone situation, like actually be a real like red zone target. Okay. But yeah, I feel like you already have it there with Ferkser.
Yeah, and that's something again. How about Pitts? Can the guy block?
Pitts, he got better at it. He's actually a very underrated pass blocker.
Okay,
but I mean, if you're passing the ball, you don't want him blocking. Like,
no,
that's not his upside.
And I don't understand what we did with Jonnu Smith. I still can't figure it out. I know Lawan went out, so it's like, all right, Jonnu, you're gonna have to block now. But it's like the guy's so gifted. He's so athletic. He took a pitch against the Texans, man, in the backfield, like almost 70 yards as a running back when Derrick Henry was hurt against the Texans. And it's like, I know you can run against the Texans. Like, we could probably put ourselves in there and run against the Texans, but it's still the point, right?
Like 5'4", 40.
And we refuse to really get him and be creative. That's the only knock I really have on Arthur Smith, other than the 3rd and 2s, take out Derrick Henry and throw in, what's his, I can't even think of his name now.
Evans.
My
Barrington
goodness.
Evans.
I keep saying Blasting Game. It's not Blast. He's a fullback. Oh, you guys know who he is. This is like my 3rd show in 24 hours. My mind's gone. And the McNichols. Yeah, McNichols.
Oh,
so
McNichols. That's right.
they just throw him in there. You know, it's like, we're not going to run with McNichols. We're going to throw the ball. And then they obviously know. But is there any chance the Titans, theoretically, I think the only way we can get Pitts is obviously moving up. Could we get him at 15? Because if we look at where the draft board lies, New England seems to be a friend. We gave them Jonnu Smith really without tagging him. So some people connect the dots with trading up at 15. Could the Titans legitimately get him at 15, do you think, in your opinion?
I don't think so. He's been like mocked anywhere from like the 3rd pick or even the 2nd pick in some cases to 15. But I think teams like maybe like the Panthers, if there's not a quarterback there, they might go Pitt. They might be willing to go Pitts. You could say the Giants get Danny Dimes some weapons. They could go Pitts. Team could trade up and go Pitts. They even talked about San Fran pairing Pitts up with Kittle.
Wow.
So like, yeah, like it's wild. I think Pitts goes somewhere in that top 15, maybe even top 10, but I think it'd be a reach for the Titans to trade up and try to get him. I think, yeah, they're better just kind of sitting on their picks and then maybe trading down, maybe hoping to get like Pat Freiermuth would be fine out of Penn State, or I think Brevin Jordan. A lot of people like to comp him to Jonnu Smith, so that might be a guy to eye, maybe early 3rd, somewhere in the 3rd round.
Wait, what was his name?
Brevin Jordan, the Miami Hurricanes.
Got you.
Tight end.
All right, I'll look more into him. That's something that looking for any inspiration.
Freak athlete.
I mean, because we drafted Jonnu from Florida, and I know he was like Florida. Was it Florida Atlantic or Florida? Oh my goodness, not Florida Atlantic. FIU. So we drafted him from FIU, and now we might draft a 3rd round out of the 3rd round, and now maybe we get a 3rd round Jonnu Smith replacement out of Miami, Florida, in the 3rd round as well. So I could live with that. We got 2 3rd rounders, might as well. Unless we trade one. Would you trade a 3rd rounder? I just have to ask this. Because there's reports from Adam Schefter that people are calling in about Anthony Miller from the Bears. And you know how the Bears are. I mean, they just went out and just shut everybody up. You know, Wilson, no. Watson, nah. Darnold, nah. We're going to bring in the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton. What do you think of that move?
Cocked and loaded. I think it was from what I hear, it's because they couldn't get, like, Seattle was not budging. They're like, we're not trading Wilson. And it's like they tried their heart out. And they're like, well, we can't go into the season with Nick Foles. So I don't know. I think the Bears are a likely candidate to try to make a trade up. Like, but then again, I mean, I feel like Ryan Pace is on his last legs. So
True. And I thought maybe they'd get bailed out by somebody, but Watson, I always tell these guys, like, Watson during the draft process, the Bears were too good to call him, man. You know, he had a phenomenal college career. You know, him coming up was worth the look. At least give the guy a call. They didn't do it. And they were all loaded with Mitch Trubisky, and even traded up with
what a stupid trade.
They really thought someone was trying to trade up for Mitch Trubisky, according to the San Francisco 49ers. And San Francisco was like, yeah, nobody really trying to trade up. So, but the bottom line is this. They didn't even call him. Watson wants out of the Texans because of all that crazy stuff going on down there. I can't imagine Watson would be okay, since he has a no trade clause, with going to the Bears, a team that overlooked him to begin with. But maybe I'm wrong.
Man, I don't even think the Bears have enough assets to make a bid at Watson.
Yeah. So when we come back from the break, Hunter's been on this guy. He actually talked me into taking him, and I didn't know a whole lot about him. He's from Washington. He is a pass rusher, and he's Hunter's guy. The other thing, too, Broshmo, with what you do you have, like, people that can get – obviously they can go to your channel. They can subscribe. You have some sort of – it's a membership kind of thing, like a club. Could you talk briefly about that really quick? Because I got a suggestion for you, and I'm not trying to hook anyone up with a free membership or anything, but there's a guy that we know in our Titans community. He called into the show. He is like, he knows more about the draft than literally way more than I do. Like he's phenomenal. Young guy. I could see him doing what you do someday. But yeah, I'm going to put him on the screen when we come back from the break. But could you tell us a little bit about that membership crew that you got going on and just a little bit more about your channel? Because obviously it's popping, man. 17,000 plus and growing. So we just want to hear more about it.
Yeah. So, I have like YouTube memberships. Obviously you could, I have 2 tiers. One's just if you want to support me. The other is, if you want to get my full rankings, my full big board, they get access to those videos where I'll go and I'll break down those guys, why I have them there. So you got the, it's called the Bro Scout tier. You know, it's the pun off Pro Scout. I know, right? I'm genius. Just wait till I get that all bro team going. But right now it's kind of like I just started doing the memberships thing, so it's in the early stages, and I'm hoping for the perks to be a bit greater. They also get access to my Discord, so if they have any questions or if they just really want to talk with me or some of the other members, because you know who doesn't want to talk football with other people that love football. Football discourse is kind of what my channel is, so they also have access to that. And then I'll go through their mock drafts too. And I do these mock videos where the idea is like I mock other people's mock drafts. I like to think I'm pretty fair. I don't think I'm rude. I don't think I'm mean about it, but sometimes I'll take some of the members videos and or mocks, and I'll do a video on that for the channel. So it's got some nice perks there, and hopefully more to come in the future.
Yeah, you guys should definitely go check him out. Seriously. You're missing out. You really are missing out, especially with the draft.
300 people, 300 players.
You don't get the cookie cutter stuff, though, right? I mean, it's like the same stuff. CBS, ESPN, they kind of just mess around just to make it a story. But you actually put so much effort into it. So I really do. I wouldn't push stuff that I didn't believe in, and I think honestly they would love your channel. So. All right, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we are going to put that guy I was talking about on the spot. We're going to put his man, who he loves, from Washington, and we want to hear what Broshmo's got to say. And plus, you guys will have plenty of questions, and we'll get them through. And we'll put Broshmo on the spot, and we'll talk Titans draft, or we got Packers GOAT in the house telling us the update on Richard Sherman. Unlike Dirk, who's spreading false rumors, man. What's up with that? So we'll be right back after the break. Maybe. If I can find it. All right. It's that time again with Symbol. Yes. Symbol, a stock market for sports, allows you to trade teams like stocks and cash payouts if your team wins. Symbol offers a new way to invest your favorite teams without high fees and heavy losses on gambling. No last-second shots or Hail Marys that go the wrong way. Use your sports knowledge. Many of you have it. Make smart investments to buy low, sell high, and earn a profit. What's stopping you? Click on the link in the description. Use that promo code TitanUpload to give yourself free 10 bonus bucks. Let me know. Let me know that who you went with. I'll put it on the screen. We'll talk about it. Like you guys know, I went Sim Jets and already made a profit, and they already got my favorite former Titan, Corey Davis. Now it's your turn. So what are you waiting for? Start investing today on your favorite team. So when it's time that they win, you win as well. Just remember, though, must be 18 or older to make a deposit. You are buying sim teams created by Symbol, not the NFL, not the NBA, and not the MLB. So tighten up. Thank you so much, Symbol, for sponsoring our guest today, Broshmo. So we're back. Thank you. So we're putting him on the screen. Here he is, Hunter. Hunter, he gained my respect, man. I mean, a lot of these guys are awesome, okay? So I don't play favorites here on Titan Upload. I love all these guys the same. But Hunter definitely knows his stuff. And Hunter has been harping on this Tryon guy over and over and over. He's like, gotta do Tryon from Washington. And finally, I'm like, Hunter, we're going to go with you at 32. And we traded back and we took the guy from Washington. What do we know about him from Washington, the edge rusher? I think he sat out a year, Hunter said. But Hunter thinks he'd be a perfect fit for the Titans, even though they went for Bud Dupree. What do you think about Tryon in the Tennessee defense?
I think he'd be a good fit. A lot of people are a bit higher on him than I am. He did decide to opt out this past season. He is, for all intents and purposes, a power rusher. He probably has one of the best bull rushes in this class. And word from his former teammate Levi Wuzariki, he's only gotten stronger. That's something he's just built strength over the season. He's opted out. My concerns, though, with him, because this is the kind of the thing with the edge rushing class. It's a whole lot of potential. It's a whole lot of upside, and not much production behind it. There's still a lot of concerns. So you're drafting these traits, without a big sample size of elite production. And the same could be said about Tryon, because go back watching him, like oftentimes he has trouble. He would have trouble using his hands. He would get caught in blocks and he wouldn't be able to disengage. Oftentimes, he would be able to get to the passer, but tackles would just ride him. Would just ride him in into the ground. He wouldn't be able to make a play on the passer. I still feel like he was trying to understand the game of football. A lot of times, in the run game, he just wouldn't know where the ball was in the backfield. He would take bad angles. So there's still I get it. I get the traits. I think when it's all said and done, he'll be a second round grade for me as well. I feel like he's the Jalen Mayfield of the edge class for me. It's big, powerful guy, but still a lot of things he needs to work on. But I could see the upside. I see the potential. And yeah, that'd be kind of nice. That'd be kind of nice in Tennessee system.
So we got another thanks for answering that. I know that made Hunter's day. Hunter has been he's been his biggest advocate. Let's just say that. And for the Titans, I value your opinion. I value Hunter's opinion. So it was good to hear what your stance was. Mr. Morris says, I really wish Rasheed, I hope I don't mess this name up, Hamilkar out of Oregon State, Broshmo and Titan Upload. What's your opinion? I honestly don't know much about this guy at all. Hopefully you can bail me out here. But yeah, what do you think from the guy from Oregon State? And thanks so much, Morris, for the comment.
It's Hamilkar Rasheed Jr. He's an interesting case because going into the season, just before the season, I wasn't that high on him. I kind of talked about it earlier. He was one of those guys that was a late to the party type of pass rusher, and kind of reaped all the rewards. When you would look, oh man, he has this big number. I think he had 15 sacks in 2019, but he had a very low pressure rate, which that should be red flags. That should just be sirens. Woo, 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 woo. Okay, hold up. Don't get too caught up on the sack numbers. And then this year, we actually saw that regression. He wasn't nearly as dominant as a pass rusher. He came into the Senior Bowl. He put on some weight, I think, which was a good thing because I think his playing weight last year at Oregon State was 235. He may have got to 240, but he came in, I think, about 250, 255, which is what you want to see. The only problem was at the Senior Bowl, he didn't really work out as a pass rusher. He was working out with the off-ball linebackers. So you get kind of concerned to what will his role be in the NFL. And I still firmly believe he is kind of this just passing down pass rush specialist right now. So I'm a bit lower on him. Think I got him in the 5th, 6th round area. But I understand why people like him. They look at that sack total from 2019. They're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we really invest a lot of our efforts in undrafted free agents that just kind of don't get drafted. And Tier Tart.
It's going to be a load of good ones this year.
Exactly. And Tier Tart, he played probably the best of any of our rookies last year. He played better than Murchison did. And he was drafted in the 5th round. Yeah. So
yeah, the FIU guy.
Yep. He actually did the whole what are you, Last Chance U. He did that, and he didn't
Oh,
even
that's
make it to the
right.
first game, and he got booted out of there. But sometimes these guys learn. You know what I mean? We don't always go the same path like everybody else, and, he had to go a different path, and he worked through it, man. I mean, him and that Kobe Smith from South Carolina, those guys hung in there until the very end, and actually, Tier Tart got his number called, and he actually did pretty well until he freaking stomped on a guy against the Browns, I think it was, and he got suspended or something like that, or fined heavily. But other than that, Tier Tart, I'm excited to see what he can do. What about Greg Newsome from Northwestern? Anything on him?
Yeah, a lot of people are really high on him. He's probably going to be my cornerback 5. I'll have him right behind Asante Samuel.
Okay.
Yeah, people like he came out and on his virtual pro day, like it was impressive. Like his 40 time, I think it was like a 4.3. I don't know, it was maybe a 4.39. I want to say I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, but again, with these virtual pro times though, like 40 times, you got to kind of take a like grain of salt, maybe like add like 0.05 onto those, just because we're not seeing it at the combine. But in terms of what he can do, he came from a very zone heavy defense there at Northwestern. He played a lot of off coverage. But you look at him, it's like, okay, he has, the capability, has the traits to play, maybe play press, maybe play a bit of man, but you're just projecting at that point. But my biggest concern for him is he didn't play anybody. Like last year was his coming out year, and he didn't play anybody. That Ohio State game, he got injured early, so you literally haven't seen him against like NFL caliber players.
Yeah.
So, but
well,
I get the upside.
Yeah, I gotcha. So,
I'd still rather Asante Samuel.
Yeah, thank you for that opinion. Let's see. Sauce, shout out to Sauce. Ronnie Perkins or Trey Brown. Anything you want to quickly say on those guys?
I love Trey Brown. He had a banger of a Senior Bowl. That guy, he's small, but man, he gets after it. He's quick out of his breaks. Like, and like he's a natural ball hawk. Like the only thing that I think is killing him is his size. So he's probably not going to be, you're not going to want to see him in press, but he did play a lot of press at Oklahoma. That was a thing. But in the NFL, different story. You're probably going to want him off coverage, but dude's got great short area quickness. I love him. Ronnie Perkins, I like him a bit. I see what people like about him. Like, dude flies off the edge. But if you look at his production from this past year, because he also decided not to work out on his pro day, which kind of like threw some flags up for people. But literally a third of his production came in one game, and it was against Kansas. Like everyone just remembers one rep he had against Tevin Jenkins, where he just totally just took the edge on poor Jenkins, just sped right by him. But like for the most part of the year, like he was fine, but all his production, literally a third of his pressures, 2/3 of his sacks came against Kansas. So for me, that's a bit of a concern. So he's probably going to be a 3rd rounder for me, but I like him. He's a smaller rusher that could play the run. So
is Les Miles still at Kansas?
He was. I think they put him on leave.
Oh no.
I don't know if,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for answering that. Thanks for the question. CQ Collins with the super chat. Thanks so much, man. He says, what do you guys think of Elijah Moore in the second? Put him with A.J. Brown. Both went to Ole Miss. Also think we could sign a tackle and not draft one. So he's not in favor of drafting a tackle like John Robinson will be in the first round. What do you think of Elijah Moore? Would he be there at the end of the second round where the Titans are going to pick? Well, I shouldn't say the end, but towards the middle to the end of the second round, or you think he's going to fly off the board somewhere before?
Man, you could never say never in the draft, but I think he could honestly sneak into the first round.
Wow.
He's probably one of the most gifted slot receivers in this class. He can tear the top off of any defense, very vertical threat. Even despite his size, like he was actually very good at the contested catch, which you like to see that from smaller guys. That means they get after it. They get to that catch point and they're physical. And also he was very good after the catch. So it's not like he's just a one trick pony. He can run underneath. He could run really any route. He's a very polished route runner. So yeah, I think he's a guy that could sneak into the first, maybe even to like the Saints. But oh man, in the second to y'all, man, that's gonna be. I don't know if he makes it.
Do you think Robinson would take him at 22? I'm not sugarcoating it anymore. I'm just gonna flat out ask you that. John Robinson, could you see him stunning everybody, even with Bateman on the board from Minnesota?
Don't say Bateman. Oh, I love Bateman.
Well, a lot of these guys love Bateman too, so maybe that's just. So let's say Bateman's not on the board. Let's say he goes to the Colts at 21. Seriously, would you take? We don't have a wide receiver other than A.J. Brown, dude. We really don't. Well, Mason Kinsey, but nobody wants to give Mason Kinsey a chance. So I've been kind of pounding the table for this guy because I think he can do some things, right? But even I will admit, just throwing him in at number 2, that's not going to happen. I think he can make the team for sure, but we don't have a number 2. Cam Batson's not a number 2. So do you think Moore would fit the mold of being possibly molded into a number 2 and we take him at 22?
Yeah, I mean, he did play a bit on the outside there for Ole Miss, so he has seen press coverage. Granted, it was like only like 70 snaps or so, so it's a very small sample size, but he did well with that. So it's nice to see that he has done it. You're not just kind of just projecting like, oh, I think he can. At 22, I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm kind of in the draft a tackle boat for y'all. Like if Tevin Jenkins is there, I really like him as a fit at tackle, especially with Dennis Kelly gone. Like, I don't know why y'all would do that.
I know. I don't get it.
I actually like Dennis Kelly.
I know he didn't do anything wrong. He literally just got, I don't know if you heard this, Derrick Henry bought the lineman a Rolex, a cool king gold necklace chain type thing or whatever. And what else? He got him something else too. Just gave the gifts out, I think, today, and they freaking cut him. Oh, my goodness. They must not have really wanted to cut Ben Jones. So they're like, we'll just cut Kelly. We got to cut somebody on the offensive line.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's adequate there's a lot of good receivers in this class. So you don't have to dip early. And I have a guy like Jenkins higher than I have Elijah Moore. So I typically try to stay true to my board, and I would probably go Jenkins if it was just me personally. But I do like Moore a lot.
A lot of people now. I have one of my good friends. Shout out to Ken Moore. All right, I don't know where Ken Moore is. He's probably getting some rest too because it's been so much stuff going on with the Titans, you know. But we asked Ken about Joseph from Texas, the edge rusher, and Ken's like, because Ken played football at Texas, so like, I mean, he lives in Houston. I mean that was his school. He's going to pay a lot of attention to them. He says he's not worth taking in the first round. Second round maybe, but not the first one. So my question to you then would be, are you sold on him in the first round? Like a lot of these guys, I mean, if I'm just like skimming the chat here and I'm going to type in Joseph here. I mean, we got Jonathan Joseph that appears. We have a lot of them, but a lot of these guys are asking that question. Juan in particular, I'll throw him on there. So thanks, Juan, for the question. But what do you think of this guy? Could he be dangerous with Landry?
Yeah, he could be. I'm kind of on board with Ken though when it comes to. I don't think he's a first rounder. There's guys just with better traits, like athletically, which it was nice to see. He's a pretty great athlete in his own right, which we saw that on his pro day. Your concern though with him is how does he deal with power? And he really struggled with that. Like bring up the Tevin Jenkins game. He really struggled to really make any dent of difference in that game. And it just gets harder. The guys are a lot stronger in the NFL. You're facing the best of the best. So that's probably his biggest concern. But if that guy's available in the second, I wouldn't mind that. Next to Landry, though, I think I would probably rather a guy like Joe Tryon.
Okay.
Yeah. I would probably look for someone a bit more powerful, a bit different. He does feel a bit similar to Harold Landry.
Yeah.
Actually might be a good comp for him.
Oh. And we play Landry. Wait, yeah, I don't even want to get started on Landry. I like Landry, but Landry's not a guy that should be playing 95% of the snaps. And it just sucks watching him just get worn down in the second half. The guy literally gave us 5 sacks. He's better than 5 sacks, but they way overplayed him. They way overplayed Clowney until he couldn't do anymore. They just wanted to dress 3 pass rushers, legitimately play 2, Landry and Clowney. Have nobody. What I got one to throw at you. This is for me personally. I'm not going to super chat myself. Now, what I could do is leave a comment. So that's interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and ask this. Everybody knows what I'm going to ask you. Everybody knows. Let's see. Before I even put it, what am I going to ask him? You guys know what I'm going to ask him. All right, maybe they're not going to tell me. Here we go. So we'll ask it. There it is. We'll put it on the screen. Boom, that's me. What do you think? Since somebody asked him, what do you think of Wyatt Ray? Wyatt Ray from Boston College. Great depth piece signing for the Tennessee Titans that I heard all about from the local media going into the season. But honestly, what do you know anything about Wyatt Ray when he came out?
I know nothing about Wyatt Ray.
Really?
Who's Wyatt Ray?
Are you kidding me?
Oh, is he in this draft class? Is he a player?
No.
Oh, wait. Okay, I see him. Oh, he played a total of 80 snaps this year. Yeah, I'm going to know a ton about Wyatt Ray.
Oh, okay. Because, we heard he had a pretty good career at Boston College with Landry. So they brought him in. The thing I didn't like about Wyatt Ray, and it's nothing with him personally. He's a great dude. He got a sack. He got one more sack than Clowney, believe it or not. There's nothing against him. People think like and I'm not the guy that makes fun of any, and I'm not making fun of him at all. I'm actually kind of poking more at the Titans, like, and people that made this such a big deal in the media. But when Wyatt Ray just comes in here and he played the year before, he was an undrafted free agent. He was picked up, dude, by 4 teams. Not one of those 4 teams put him on the field. So the Titans end up signing him in the offseason. And I'm not kidding you, man. Local media guys, oh, this is just such a great depth piece for the Titans. I about lost it. I made some videos on it. I know this is our thing between the Titan Upload community, and, they give me a hard time on, especially when he got his first sack. And he's actually back. They brought him back. So he might actually get some playing time this year. And I'm all for him, dude. I mean, seriously, all kidding aside, I hope he does ball out this year and help us win. I really do. I just like giving that situation with the media a hard time. But it is interesting. Didn't even know who Wyatt Ray was.
Yeah, I'm looking him up right now. He has been around the league. Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
For a short time. Cleveland, Houston, Buffalo, Jets.
Was I wrong, though, to bring that up? Like, was I wrong to say?
I mean, those pieces are great to have, to work on. I mean, but shoo, man.
I just
you got me, man. You made me look stupid. Thanks.
Oh, man. So we got a comment. He should be starting over Bud Dupree. So I tell you what.
Not at that price.
We would love to have you back at some point. And I know you're super busy around the draft. Maybe you could be even after the draft or whenever it works with your schedule. I know there are some downtime.
You just hit me up, man. I'm a call away.
But, go do your homework on Wyatt Ray. Come back and tell us your honest evaluation. Because you evaluate these guys.
I'm going to have to find preseason snaps on this guy.
Yeah, and there might be preseason football this year, which we're super pumped about because we didn't get that last year. And we really like that stuff. Some of us think it's boring, but we love to break that stuff down. So we'll get to a few more comments. Iron Lung Titan, who does Broshmo think we're taking in the first, second, and third rounds? I've watched a few of his drafts on the Titans, and it's different almost every time. He's throwing you under the bus. But you know what? To be fair, things change all the time. Look what happened to the Tennessee Titans the last 24 hours. I mean, the whole world's been upside down, right?
Pre-free agency. How am I supposed to guess?
Exactly. But, hey, I'm not going to make you answer all of those from Iron Lung, but you can take your pick. First, second, third round, whatever you're more comfortable with answering.
Oh, no, I can nail all those.
I mean, I wanted to give them a perk to go to your channel, though. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. I mean, if it changes all the time, you could get a variety of different opinions.
True. But honestly, you can answer it however you want to. Thanks for the question, man. We appreciate it.
I would probably go, because you have 2/3, right?
Yeah. Actually, we got a comp pick for the first time for Conklin.
Oh, that's hot. That comp pick will be late. All right, so I would go Jenkins. And I know people love tackle, man. But then I would probably go for corner in the second round. I'd be eyeing probably guys like maybe if Samuel falls, because some NFL teams aren't high on him. What is other corner maybe there? Okay, let's go maybe like the Tyson Campbell. I think I could definitely see Tyson Campbell here. He's going to get a lot of hate. A lot of people hate Tyson Campbell. I don't know why. They look at one Alabama game and suddenly he's the worst prospect ever, but do your homework. And then with the 2 second rounders, Brevin Jordan would be a guy I'd take with that first third. And then I would try to look at Tyler Shelvin, the LSU defensive, the nose tackle that opted out this past year to fill in for Daequan Jones.
And what do you think of Daequan Jones, speaking of him?
I love Daequan Jones.
He never gets really much credit. I mean, he don't put up stats, but he fills those holes. He helps in the run game.
He's adequate at what he does at a reasonable price.
It'd be interesting to see if they do actually try to bring him back, because I don't think he's opposed to coming back. But
it doesn't sound like he's gotten a lot of traction. I haven't seen his name pop up.
Yeah. What about Jalen Brown? You shocked on him not signing yet?
Yeah, he's actually probably my favorite player on the defense. He's one of the most underrated coverage linebackers in a league that is pass heavy. Yes. When coverage at the linebacker position matters, he's your best linebacker and you don't bring him back.
I know, it's insane.
To be fair, it doesn't sound like the NFL is that high on him either, because he hasn't been getting doesn't look like he's been getting too many offers either.
Is that like these guys in the chat and stuff? They'll say, well, you know, he's a smaller guy too. Do you think that has something to do with it? Is his body holding on for a whole season?
No, the guy was phenomenal in coverage. Like, I mean, okay. Did he miss any games like recently?
Well, the Ravens. We played the Ravens.
That was
week 11, and the lineman from the Ravens gave him a cheap shot, and his elbow dislocated or whatever, and he missed the rest of the year. And the year before, when we made the playoff push, when the Titans made their name known,
right?
He got something with his shoulder, I want to say, or something like that, where he landed wrong in New England, and his whole shoulder looked like it fell off with his arm there. And Long came in. And Long did a decent job. So I wonder if they feel like Long can just step in from West Virginia and be fine. But you're right, Jalen Brown, man, where he was drafted and how much he gave the Titans and excelled in the pass department. And, you know, he did improve in the stopping the run. Evans seems to be the guy that's struggling. And he might be the guy that might be the next one out of town if he doesn't watch it.
Yeah, he's like this old school linebacker. Run stopper.
He can't. You ever see him in pass coverage? Man, I feel bad for him. Because they got him out of position, though. That's Bowen again, throwing him back in lower drop thirds or something like that. He shouldn't be playing back, zone deep, whatever. Oh, man, don't get me started. Cover 3. Let's drop the linebacker, all the way down to the deep zone. Whatever. Okay, couple more questions for you. We're about out of time. We're over the hour, so we'll ask a few more. I know you guys were waiting patiently, so we're gonna kind of get on this again. Just going back real quick. Iron Lung Titan. You don't have. I mean, I'm just kidding. We're kidding around, man. So we're just giving him a hard time. So we do appreciate you.
Should see my comment section.
We appreciate you going over there and checking them out and stuff like that too, and giving us your feedback on the picks yourself. So definitely glad that you left the comment. Don't feel bad about that whatsoever. You're fine, man. You're fine. And no hard feelings on our end. I hope we're just kidding around. Let's kind of over chicken. Now I drafted him in my Madden mock. How do we feel? Can you see the screen? Because I don't want to
yeah,
butcher
I
his
see
last
it.
name.
Merrick, which I'm still learning to pronounce, and I'm pretty sure that
He's
might not even be right.
TCU. I know that, but
Yeah,
that's all I know.
yeah, he's a
Safety
baller.
guy,
He's
right?
great. Yeah, he's got your ideal size for the safety position. What changed this year with him though? Because he's like, man, he's got it athletically, he's got it physically. He's a thumper. It's just it always seemed he would be not necessarily late to the football, but he wasn't he didn't show ball skills. He didn't have like he wouldn't exactly meet you at the point of the catch point. He would jar it loose. Like he over the last 2 seasons, his completion rate when targeted extremely low, extremely low. What changed was his process and the way he saw the field. And it was a huge leap. That's why like he is considered probably the only first round safety in this class. I think it'd be solid. It's not a bad idea. I mean, I'm not a big Vaccaro guy, so Kenny Vaccaro.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think of Hooker?
but I love Hooker, man. I wish they would use him a bit more.
I think he's going to be the guy, man. I really do.
Is he?
I think we all think he's going to, now that Vaccaro's out of town, I think they're going to slide him right over there. And I know there's some things he can't do Vaccaro could do, but there's things Vaccaro can't do that he can do. So I'm really excited about it. I remember when we took him 4th out of Iowa in the 4th round, people are like, why are we taking a safety? We got Byard and we got Vaccaro. Well, this is why we took a safety, right? This is how these picks are supposed to work themselves out. They're not supposed to be in Miami and yacht clubs and doing all that other stuff when you're drafted in the 1st round. You're supposed to do your time, and then when it's your number, it should have been Isaiah Wilson's number right now. He should be the starting right tackle. Unfortunately, not going down that road anymore. Again, thank you so much.
Who knows? It might have worked out best.
Thank you so much for being here. We have roughly 282 in the house. Thank you so much. Definitely tighten up that like button. Get us up to 100 likes. Broshmo, definitely go over and check his stuff out. Go follow him on YouTube. Like I mentioned, he's on Instagram, Twitter as well, but his big following's over on YouTube as well. I did want to put this on the screen because Alec's been waiting patiently. He's kind of nonchalantly asked this question a few times. I've seen it, and I keep wanting to get it on the screen, so I'm going to put it on there for Alec. Thank you so much. Surtain. This is a guy that I like. This is a guy, thank you for the 100 likes, by the way. This is a guy I really like. If you're the Titans, is this guy fit maybe a true number 1 that you could trade up, and is it realistic the Titans could trade up in the top 10 at 22? Dallas, right? Don't you think Dallas would take him or Farley from Virginia Tech?
Yeah, but Dallas is also, well, I guess now y'all are desperate at corner too, but us, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be that big of a difference between Surtain and guys like Horn, like Newsome, like Samuel, because the biggest concern with him is, of course, speed. Speed's huge concern. He got sauced by one of my favorite prospects in this class, Tennessee's Josh Palmer, in their game. Just
a lot of Tennessee fans here, Broshmo. A lot of Tennessee fans.
Dude, Josh Palmer, he's going to end up going like late day 3. He's fabulous. I got a 3rd round grade on him. I just don't, I think he just needs to be, he just needs to polish up on his route running, but dude's got great ball skills, tremendous athlete, good size and speed. Like, sign me up, man. He had like the 2nd highest win rate at the Senior Bowl on drills. Like, but Surtain, right? This is the thing. I try to you got to be concerned a bit about speed and whatnot, but what Surtain does well, like he's actually a pretty darn good deep ball defender. He's got actually pretty decent lateral movement. He actually played slot his freshman year, which you would think, okay, if he's not that fast, how does that work out? Because the dude, it's hard to get by the dude. The guy is one of the best press corners in this class. So with his elite production, like you think it's going to work out. I kind of felt the same way about Cameron Dantzler, which Dantzler's not the same prospect. Like Surtain's Dantzler a little bit further, but Dantzler ended up falling because of concerns with his speed and I think his length too. I don't think Surtain would be a guy I trade up for though.
Okay.
Considering this class and there's better athletes, and I don't think there's that big of a difference. I mean, I think, yes, he is a 1st round corner. And while I might question if like guys like Newsome or Samuels, are they 1st round guys? I still feel better about taking those guys later than I would trading up for someone like Surtain. Because
I
I mean, I don't think it's worth what you're giving up.
actually really love the question because I was going to actually ask you that myself. So you actually answered it, and I'm not sure I would trade up anymore. So that kind of tells you where I'm at.
Yeah, I feel like if you're trading up, you're trading up for quarterback.
What about wide receiver?
Yeah.
Trade up for
Trading
a
up
wide.
for
We need a wide
receiver.
receiver.
Yeah, it's a good class. Like I would totally consider Rasheed Bateman. Rasheed Bateman's
Okay.
He's a guy that might slip to the second round. I don't know why no one from the NFL is high on this guy. It puzzles me. He ended up running a 4.39 because that was his big question. Oh, he's gonna run a 4.5. Bam, he ran a 4. Even if that's like a little fabricated, like it's probably a 4.4. I'm happy with 4.4 speed. He is a polished route runner. He could play the slot. He could play the outside. He's good downfield. He's got a great he's good at the contested catch as well. He's a good red zone target. Biggest concern probably because he has a drop rate of 10%. When you get into that 10% or over, it's kind of a concern. But much like his former teammate Tyler Johnson, who in a small sample size looked great for the Bucs this year, they're focus drops. They're not ball skill drops. Like
Gotcha.
Rasheed Bateman, he has ball skills. He's got a ton of contested catches on his repertoire. It's focus drops. It's what you're seeing. It's those things on maybe like slants or screens where he's looking to make the play before he actually secures the ball. Those are extremely fixable. It's not like MVS type of no ball skills. The Green Bay Packers receiver. Like, gosh, dude, that guy's got no ball skills.
So you're 22. You're John Robinson. You got this tackle you're talking about, right? I forgot his name. Is he from Oklahoma State?
Tevin Jenkins, Oklahoma State.
So Jenkins. You got Bateman on the board at 22, right? You're going Jenkins all day, no matter what.
I'm going Bateman. Bateman's higher on my board.
Oh,
I just don't expect Bateman to be here. Yeah, I got Bateman as like my 17th player on the board. Yeah, Bateman, I'm really high.
He made the cover artwork for the thumbnail. So I wanted to talk about him, but I'm glad it came up because we were going to bring him up at the end. But yeah, that would be right now. I'm leaning that would be my pick at 22 if we stay. I'm just afraid he's going to go before 22. Like somebody's going to like the Raiders. The Raiders just
every mock I see, it's just like from like analysts like your Mel Kipers, your Kyle Krabs and stuff. Like they have him in the second round. Even Walter Football, I think, has him as a second round guy. And it just puzzles me. I don't get why. I think you can bring him in the discussion with like Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle of who's the next guy after Jamar Chase.
So I'm not trading up for a wide receiver when Bateman, you say, could be just a little shade off of that?
Could be. But again, all this news coming out, you got to kind of take it as a grain of salt. True. So maybe the NFL really is high on him. Who knows?
All right. 2 more questions and we're out of here. One, because it's non-Titans. And since I do encourage all of you to subscribe to the watch parties and all that fun stuff, I want to be fair. And right now, the only fan that I see in here who keeps talking about the Detroit Lions. So I want to at least put Don on the screen. Let me get Don's comment because Don's kind of getting into it with the crowd right now. So we'll go back to Don here earlier. He had a question. Oh, he just wants to say he's in the building, but I'm going to ask the question for him. Who do you got the Lions taking lately? We got a thumb down for that. Oh, come on. Who do you got the Lions taking at number 7?
Oh, dude, that's so tough. I think they might just trade down, grab more resources. This is supposed to be a long rebuild. Mm-hmm. If they don't think the quarterback of their future is at that pick, whether it's Trey Lance, Justin Fields, then just ride Goff and then get into the quarterback class next year. You have enough draft capital to get like a Spencer Rattler, a Sam Howell, whoever ends up being the top guy there. So just trade back and just invest more in a very deep class. That's probably what I would do. A lot of people probably be like Jamar Chase, which is fine. That's great. I love Jamar Chase. But I think if I'm the Lions, if this really is a long rebuild, then like, because 6-year contract with Dan Campbell, they ain't expecting this thing to be overnight. So I would trade down.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got time for one more question. One more question. Let's a lot of great comments today, by the way. I wish we could have got to all of them. Hopefully we can have you back, ask you some more questions, and just do questions. We got the call-in feature. Maybe we'll open up the phone lines and just let people talk to you, see how that goes. I don't know how many questions
do
we
like
get
a
to
mailbag.
ask. In about an hour, we probably would only get to talk, 7 or 8 questions. But I'm going to go ahead and put one. They're asking about Collins, but since I already asked one about Phillip Maddox, I don't want to I don't want to show favoritism or anything like that. So I'm going to try to pick somebody who really hasn't got a chance to ask a question. And then if we don't have one, maybe we'll just go back to Phillip because he is asking about Zavian Collins. So we'll keep kind of waiting here and going, trying to find one. So I'm kind of scavenging up here. Thanks again, like I said, for joining Broshmo and myself. This guy. Wait.
The other way.
This way.
Oh, now I'm mixed up.
Yeah. There you go. That guy. He knows his stuff. So it was an honor to have him on the show. And you guys got to go check him out. I'm serious. You're missing out on some content. You go check it out. Like you guys already said, Iron already said, he's had multiple drafts you can digest. And what I like what you do too, and we're going to go with Joe. So Joe's got, okay. I think we already asked that question about Pitts trading up for Pitts. So just would you trade up for Pitts? I thought you said no.
Nah.
Yeah. So you're passing on that. Josh says cornerback. Let's just go there. With cornerback, it's a concern. We don't have a number 1. Fulton might be a number 2. We have Breon Borders. Sure how high or low you're on Breon Borders, another undrafted guy that threw him in the fire last year, and he didn't do too bad. I mean, until he got somewhat exposed towards the end and got hurt. But they want to know cornerback. Like you said, you could get a solid corner, I thought, in the second round. If I'm not mistaken, right after maybe Samuel drops or something like that. So you're kind of passing, or would you take if Horn, Bateman, and Jenkins were there? You kind of already shared Bateman's high on your board, but it's equal. I would say corner and wide receiver at this point. Number 2 wide receiver, number 2, number 1 corner. Maybe we do something free agency, but I don't care who you throw in. Surtain falls. So now you got Surtain at 22. He's falling down the board. And then you got Bateman. Like, I guess what I'm asking you, the best corner available, best wide receiver, which one are you taking? Especially if the Titans were going to trade up for one or the other, wide receiver or corner.
Oh, man, that's a tricky question because then you get positional value into it. Because I'm a firm believer of keep drafting corner until you get it right. That's what the Bucs did, and look at them now. They have probably one of the best secondaries in football. And I firmly believe that corner is the most valuable position on defense. Like you really just need one banger of an edge rusher, and then if you got solid corners, then it just makes your defense world better. And I feel like that's what they have in Tampa with Barrett, and then you got Carlton Davis and Jamel Dean, who I'm real high on. But man, receiver might be the second most important position on offense. I think I would just go to who's higher on my board at that point. That's a tough one. If it's Surtain's higher on my board. If Surtain's off, then it's probably Bateman. It's a real tough pickle you put me in there.
Yeah, a good question. I mean, I kind of took it, a different direction because you kind of. Joe's just kind of checking us. I mean, he's just got in here, so he didn't kind of hear our comments earlier about the whole cornerback position, but I do remember you kind of already answered that. So, but it would be I think it could go in many different ways, and a lot's going to depend on what the heck the Titans do here in free agency. Again,
y'all don't have much cap space, do you?
But we got a little bit today. But the question is,
I guess that's fair. Thank you.
I don't know what Jenkins signed for though, and I'm not seeing much in the chat. Like I don't know if it's even out there yet. I don't know why they're keeping that hush hush. If it's hush hush, is it usually not for that much?
Typically it's just they're trying to get the exact details on it.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of times they'll put out like they won't put out the baseline. They'll put out what the max deal is. So you'll see like, Cam Newton signed for 1 year, 14 million. But what you don't know, it's actually 1 year, 5 million. It's just all with incentives and such.
Gotcha.
It could go up to 14. So, yeah, I'm not seeing anything specifically right now. Yeah, typically it takes a little longer for kind of like the maybe you're not high profile free agents for those deals to come out.
Quick yes, no on Zavian Collins at 22. Does he fit with the tight, like Long and Collins? Isn't Collins more of a middle linebacker?
He sorry, my wife came in. I was like, calm down.
I'm sorry. I'm keeping you over. I got you over 20 minutes.
No. She was asking if I wanted more coffee. I could get coffee at any time. I'm here again. I could be here all night. Zavian Collins, it's interesting because you're going to have a specific role in mind for him because at 260 with his skill set, you may think that he's like a jack of all trades, but really you need to kind of eye in on, okay, are we going to use him kind of like a pass rusher, which he was good at on a small sample. They didn't at Toulouse. They didn't rush him a ton, but he got tremendous pressure when they did. And it's not like he's like this explosive athlete to play in coverage. They put him in position to make plays and that he wouldn't be compromised, so it really depends, man. That's why I have such a hard time like projecting where Collins could go. I always like think maybe teams like Miami, because a lot of people make the Kyle Van Noy comparisons, which it's kind of a fair comp. Apparently there's a lot of talks at Washington. They're really interested in him. So if I'm the Titans, I think corner, receiver, tackle in the class that's so deep at it, I think you'd probably stick there, especially those are like kind of your big needs right now. I would kind of stick with that.
And then last one, I promise. Okay.
Oh, you're fine.
I feel so bad. Some of these guys, Oiler Titan is like literally this guy comes every stream, leaves great comments. So I wanted to at least get his on here. What's your initial take on the Tony from Florida, the wide receiver?
Oh, Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, what do you think of him?
He's another guy. You have to have a role, like some of his like a role in mind. Some of his stuff is going to be schemed. I'm not to say he's a gadget player, but he was used like a gadget player at Florida. But he's phenomenal after the catch. He's so hard to bring down. I think whoever gets him, like that's why a lot of people are thinking the Saints. Sean Payton would love a guy like this, but you're probably getting a guy that you work in the slot. Maybe you do some reverses and stuff with him, but he's mainly going to be someone you get the ball to quick underneath, and then just gets yards after the catch. He did display a bit of decent like route running at the Senior Bowl, but he's a guy that he has a small route tree,
Okay.
It was very simplistic the way that they used him. He doesn't know how to run a variety of just route concepts. He was kind of this like slant screen go type of guy. But like he's a good player. I think 22 might be a bit high, and I think yeah. I'll just stick with that.
Hey, with John Robinson, though, I mean, Kevin Byard never even got invited to the combine. And he took I think, number 1 overall in the 3rd round, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of us were like, wow, like, it's great. He took a local kid. But a lot of us are probably thinking, Kevin Byard, we know he was a ball hawk at Middle Tennessee State, but there's all these other guys.
Tennessee State has some they push out some decent like secondary.
They do.
Because was it Chavarius Ward, the Chiefs corner? Like he's pretty solid too.
T-Town Jordan Smith, UAB. He's putting me on the spot, man. He's putting me on the spot. Jordan Smith.
He's
Anything
good
on him?
Yeah, he's got huge upside. I think he measured in at like 6'7". He's still extremely raw though. He was a former Florida recruit. Then he was in this credit card fraud scandal. make it sound big. He was just a dumb kid doing something stupid. And they kind of give you this option. Hey, do you want to be suspended or do you just want like this immediate transfer? He took the immediate transfer, went to UAB. He's been dominant at UAB. Of course he would, like literally unblockable, but, a guy that I still think you kind of trickle in from day one that he's not there yet. He's very raw. Like there's not much technique to what he does. Like when you're playing in Conference USA, what you just need elite athleticism, elite size, great length. And you don't really, there's not much else you need. You win with that. So I like him a lot. I think I like him a little bit early day 3 though.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Thanks for, I threw a lot at you, dude. I threw you non-draft questions, Wyatt Ray questions at you.
Wyatt Ray, I know, dude. You just put my nose in it right there.
So, but seriously, friend to a friend, man. See what you can dig up on Wyatt Ray because we're obviously brought him back. And there are some people that are actually kind of high on him and they think, hey, he might actually find a nice role in this Titans defense somewhere, somehow. And I don't really see a whole lot of it right now. I think it would have showed by now, but you never know. Some of these guys can get in the right scheme, right situation. Maybe Bud Dupree helps him out, shows him something.
Depth piece,
Yeah. So this is Broshmo. Definitely go follow him. I'll put him just on the screen. Any last closing comments, man? Thanks again, bottom of my heart, joining the show. I know that we've been talking about this for a while. It's actually really good to just bring you right into the fire, especially with everything going on, and get your takes, not only on draft guys, but current Titans, former Titans, Titans we let go, Titans we just signed. And again, if you're just joining us, not exactly very high on Bud Dupree, but did actually like Adoree Jackson when healthy, of course. So I found those very...
Who likes a player hurt?
Yeah, true. So, but yeah, take it away, Broshmo. Thanks again, man.
Again, hey, thank you for having me. I love this type of stuff. I'm like, that's kind of like the idea of my channel. It's whole football discourse. Let's discuss it. At the end of the day, we're all just big football fans throwing our opinions around. So let's rationalize them and see if there's anything to them. So if you love that type of thing, especially with the draft, everyone has an opinion on the draft. Then check out my channel, Broshmo. It is a lot of draft content, so you may end up liking it. And I sprinkle in a little NFL stuff there, here and there. But again, thanks for having me. And I was going through your comment section or the chat, and I saw the name Alaric Jackson come up.
Okay.
Unless you want Isaiah Wilson 2.0, you stay away from Alaric Jackson. All right.
There it is. He's not going to tell you wrong. This guy.
Yeah.
Right here. So, hey, man, again, thanks so much. I want Andrew. Andrew said he went over, already followed you. So hopefully a lot of people do check you out because they are missing. They are missing out on it.
Hey,
so
I'm about to record free agency day 2 grade. So
yeah, you're always busy, man. So hey, keep up the great work, and seriously, invite's always open. And if you got some free time, we'd love to have you back because these guys have
whenever you're willing to have me, I am here.
All right, buddy. So that's Broshmo. Go follow him. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. He's going to maybe get his Twitch channel going, his gaming channel. Who knows? But hey, he's the draft guru. So thanks so much. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. It's been fun. It's been a really crazy 24 hours. We've been kind of live Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, twice now, right? With all the breaking news from the Titans. And tomorrow's going to be the finale of the week. We're going to take Thursday, Friday off. Even if stuff breaks, we're taking a break, right? Family time. Spend some time with my family. They've been awesome. Shout out to my family. Not only, my wife, my kids, just shout out to all of them. They given me the floor to be able to do this with you guys. I do appreciate it. And a shout out to all you guys as well. Thanks so much for giving up your time. If you haven't tightened up that like button, definitely tighten up that like button before you head out of here. Love to have you come back. If you haven't subscribed yet, we'd love to have you. And like I said, definitely go over and check out Broshmo. But tomorrow night, the Mr. Producer will be back taking live calls literally for 2 hours. Cannot wait to hear your comments. This is fun. We got Michael. He said he's already been subscribed, Broshmo, so he's good to go. Thank you, Michael. And hopefully that Heat game was fun for you. Can't wait to hear about that. But tomorrow's going to be the big one. All right. Avery, what's going on? So we're going to just break all this down. I'm letting you guys vent tomorrow. All right. We're not going to have another guest. No guest on tomorrow. It's me and you guys. And I'm just going to take all the phone calls. And I'm going to hear you guys out. I might comment here or there. I might have a little bit of a rant. I'll talk about Symbol tomorrow as well. So remember, this is all sponsored by Symbol. So shout out to them as well. I'll put their little graphic on the screen really quick if I could find it. There it is. So I'll put Symbol on there. But no, I'm super pumped for tomorrow. So hopefully you guys can stop by, give up a little bit of your time. If you can't, no worries. I'm doing this for you. Titan Upload Radio tomorrow, sponsored by Symbol, not Titan Upload Live, radio edition. So I encourage you to call in. Just be patient. We only have one line. We're going to work something different out tomorrow where we shouldn't have any beeping, but on the same time, we should get to as many calls as we possibly can and hopefully have a lot of fun with that. So I don't know exact time. I'm thinking more around 8 for tomorrow, but I'll definitely let you know, and you'll see that sometime posted after 3 if you could join us. And if anything breaks Titans, you know I got you covered. So again, take care, and don't forget to tighten up. See you guys.